So this is the Harbor Freight wooden workbench I tried to get all last winter. And even if they had a limited supply or had them, nobody had the damn things for 150 miles around. I did drive to stores a couple times over in Pennsylvania, and they explained that limited supply probably means the freaking display model. So wasn't as good as I thought it would be. When it goes together, there's drawers kind of, some are too stiff, some open a little easy. It might be my way to putting it together. Uh, but yeah, they're like felt line. This one is the one that opens. I don't know. That one seems normal. And you got your little woodworking pieces that go in the slots there and stuff. But so this is the one that opens on its own, I think. And we got a bunch of old crap in there. But pretty good. It's got the little wood vise on the end and everything. I got some boat pieces there ready to cut out of oak or later on. There's the General Motors electric car I went to visit last summer, and my original EV1 brochure. Electric regeneration going down the I-77 in Virginia, North Carolina. So we couldn't get this thing. So what we did, we ordered this thing from Menards and went and picked it up. It's a 8-foot, 6-foot workbench. So I figured it's going to be like IKEA. Take it home and assemble the damn thing. Oh no, it was all just kept pieces of wood. And some of them you can see bark on the damn thing, so real low quality. And then the deck screws they have are just Phillips heads that, I would have had to drill the holes nice and wide and deep to get those to work. I used Torx and all that. So that one got me thinking and says, why don't I just copy this with and that's what all those are, the instructions I made copies of, printed out from the internet or whatever, and then I changed the dimensions. So that came with the boards on the bottom or whatever. It's okay. Good workbench, kind of pricey, I think. Yeah, I just like, oh crap, it didn't have any holes drilled or anything. So you just got wood cut to size and not very well. So we started going buying our own lumber last year, and it was pretty expensive, and this is the second one we made. So it's an 8-foot workbench, and this was done on the cheap Harbor Freight circular saw over there, all the angles and everything. And came out pretty good, considering I'm not, I never completed any project in woodshop except written test. And sturdy. And we did put the sliding miter saw in there a year ago from Harbor Freight, and that's awesome. So it's our old vacuum system from over 20 years ago, PVC. It goes to items. That's the sander over there from Harbor Freight behind the Sears Delta bandsaw was $29, so that tells you how old that is. And you can see the wheel over there. It's a belt disc thing. So this is the second one we built, and it's perfect for standing up doing work. A little tall for sitting down. So we built some and sold them, and we saw somebody ordered the 4-foot one, which is here and then in back. And then they changed their mind or whatever when I told them the price. 2x4s went up to $6.49 a piece at Home Depot. And then Busy Beavers came up and matched their prices. And their employees are real suck-ass about sorting through the lumber for something that was usable. So we stopped going there. So, we get the plans drawn up and everything, and then I'll use that whiteboard, which is for teaching electrical stuff. As we build them or whatever, we'll put the dimensions, transfer them to there so I can see. So 4-foot one is like a nice table desk height, like 30 inches off the floor. Like I said, matching one back there. So you buy this wood, and instead of like the Oh, it's a Menards bench. That one's from Menards. I'm sorry. That came in pieces, so I didn't say that. So instead of doing all the little, what's it, 2x6s, we use 2x12s or more. And so that's what all my other ones are. Much bigger wood. So there's a 5-footer. It's got the same base as the 4-footer. Well, it's a closer to 6, just more of an overhang. And our foot went through the floor over there by the broom. These boards didn't have the little support underneath on these diagonal supports. The other side of the garage has them, but they're like real wimpy, so I'll probably replace. So now everything's supported under these tongue and groove boards from, this garage is built like everything's square, nuts and bolts. So that's just under a 6-foot bench, 4-inch bench, and I think another 6-foot bench with about a 4-foot, the frame for 4-foot or 6-foot. Looks bigger than the 4-foot bench. But I had to build a couple more. I think I had to build that one. Yeah, I had to build 2 of these because the 2x12s or something was, I think it was 2x12x12 or 2 of them I was tripping over. So I had to make the benches late spring just to keep from tripping over stuff. So those are Harbor Freight pallets. We got to drill the heads out of the nails and separate that for lumber. There's the old table saw. This was all done originally to restore a boat from the Hoover administration, and I just got too sick to do it. There was only 2 lights up here when we moved in a few decades ago, and it was just storage. There's like a half-round galvanized gutter. It was an antenna, radio, TV, and they did gutters and other things, I guess. So a bunch of their stuff still laying around here, but we did put a new Diablo blade on this thing a couple years ago. Finally put the bag on there that's been sitting here for years. It's like a couple of them. I think bought one, didn't come with the snaps to hook it in. So we finally did that last year. But I did put a vacuum thing out the back that I know you've never used. But that was from True Value, the vacuum little thing. The little filter keeps slipping down. And then I put in the red and blue valves in there to send it this way or that way for the vacuum. So there's a real heavy duty stand from Harbor Freight from 20 years ago. I was going to turn it into, one of these router table. And it's not even tightened up all the way, but they don't sell anything heavy duty anymore. One of the original TVs from the TV business here. So the Menards workbench led to building all kinds of workbenches. We delivered some were picked up. The guy ordered 2, we delivered to Pittsburgh, I wanted 10 or 20 more. And I built one to specifications, and I think he wanted a price. I said, I can do it for $220. And it's not like any of these. It's a stout, lot wider surface that he wanted. And there's like supports under the table, lateral, that are screwed in. I think I did that on a couple of these, but that one it's the stoutest little table down there. So it sits downstairs. It replaced a humongous freaking work table that the Sons ripped out a few years ago, so we could use that space. But 2x4s, I forget what they're down to. Maybe $375 from $649. So the Menards workbench, not worth the money. I think it was like $175. Great to get the plans off of and copy it. The 4-foot one back there, I put like 1x10s on the lower thing, so that's the only other ones. That 1x wood became too expensive. And the Harbor Freight workbench, it's worth the money. It's worth the money. It's got a real funky smell to it, but real flimsy, that lower shelf and stuff, and kind of luck getting it together to, go right. But Harbor Freight Workbench, definitely worth the money. Menards, no, it's not. It's not, but it's sturdier than most homemade workbenches. So we get stereo. Well, all these will be set up as different workstations for different things, like soldering, 2 grinding wheels for grinding, and the other ones for polishing. Bring those upstairs and mount them hopefully this winter. We got the kerosene heater, and kerosene, I thought it was out. Came with a boat. There's a lumber we picked up. We're set. You ever see a true 2x4? That's what the oak piece is right there. That was the a lumber company going out of business. Scrap wood that came with the place. I moved it all to one spot. So that's pretty cool. And I lost a little bit of a finger on that thing last year, and actually grew back. But it's half of it's real painful. The other half is dead. It's actually improved quite a bit. So there's the first workbench. I got the chairs from Habitat for Humanity sale. 3 of them. There's one downstairs, and there's an old kitchen chair I painted decades ago. So, there's your workbenches. We got plenty of wiring to add on. Did you see I ran out and went with a 14 gauge, so the plugs under the TV and in the corner back there, they need to be changed out to 15 amp plugs. They have the slot saying they're 20, but they're not. See a little slot going to the side, it's 20 amps. When they're straight up and down, it's a 15 amp rating. So, and then the wiring is used came from the ceiling. We went in here from fluorescent lighting that wouldn't turn on in the cold because yours truly didn't spend enough money for the expensive ones. And then we did the basement light fixtures with CFL to start with, and they turned on in the cold. Then we switched to LEDs. Took them out. I replaced 2 of them there, or whatever. There's still some stuff hanging. And we put in the LED linkable lights. They're from Harbor Freight and Busy Beaver, I believe. And then you can go, if you watch those over, let's see over there, you go, hey Google, turn on shelf.
Okay, turning shelf on.
Voila, and it lights up the back area. A bunch of stuff over there needs to be cleaned out. Hey Google, turn off shelf.
All right, turning off shelf.
And there's one manual one in the corner over there, and it's probably where I'm going to put the first workbench I made this winter. One of these was over there, and I moved it or whatever. So all these are made off the Menards plans. Just things changed to make them stronger and better, and cut better. But not bad for using the table saw for the first one, and then the sliding miter saw is what we did everything else with, and it has it's got a nice shadow on there. I'll do a review on that sometime. So pretty good. I haven't made one since last year. It's probably going to be getting older, and it's going to take a while to make the next one, I guess. So, all right. Check out the other videos. Like them if you would. There's all kinds of stuff about everything there. All right. Have a great day and be safe.